Hello everyone, welcome to this session of Objective Chemistry wherein we are going to discuss the phenols and alcohols chapter objective questions one by one. All these questions are very useful for the examinations like IIT, JEE or NEET. For that matter, any online examination that you are going to face for your bright career. Let's see the questions one by one. In the first question, he is asking us to find out the number of primary alcohols possible for the formula C5H11OH. Whenever this type of question is asked, we must know first of all what is a primary alcohol. Primary alcohol is that alcohol wherein OH group is attached to a primary carbon. Now immediately the question comes, what is a primary carbon? Primary carbon is that carbon which is directly attached to only one more carbon. Let us see. The formula of the compound that is given in question number 1 is C5H11OH. From this formula, it is very clear that this is a saturated compound. Why? Because it is satisfying the general formula CnH2n plus 2. Because it is a saturated compound, it has only single bonds. Unsaturated compounds are having double bonds or triple bonds. This is a saturated compound, hence it is having only single bonds. So how many carbons are there? 5 carbons. Therefore, we can maximum write a chain length of 5 carbons like this. So what are the primary carbons? Primary carbons are carbons having connection to only one more carbon directly. So this is one primary carbon, this is another primary carbon. Both of them are synonymous to one another. Hence we are going to get only one product, namely one primary alcohol with the 5 carbon chain. Then immediately we write 4 carbon chain. When you write 4 carbon chain, the 5th carbon can be placed either here or here. Both of them are going to give same product. Hence I have written the carbon here. Now let us check for primary carbons. This is primary carbon because this is directly connected to only one more carbon. This is also another primary carbon directly connected to only one more carbon. This is a primary carbon. These two carbons are synonymous to one another, hence they are going to give you only one product. This will give another product. So let us write down the other product also. OHC. So until now we have got 3 products. And finally I can write a carbon chain containing 3 carbon chain length. So here the 2 carbons can be at most written like this. So all these 4 carbons which are present, they are synonymous to one another and they are all primary carbons, hence I may get only one product from this. So totally how many primary alcohols are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer for this question will be option B, which is 4. In the second question, he gave us a conversion wherein he is asking the end product C. Here, benzene diazonium chloride is subjected to hydrolysis. We all know pretty well benzene diazonium chloride on acidic hydrolysis will form phenol. And this phenol is subjected to the treatment of carbon tetrachloride in the presence of aqueous alcoholic KOH. Whenever we do this, we are going to get salicylic acid as the product that is formed. Why salicylic acid? Generally, it is a Raymond-Teimer reaction wherein if I use chloroform, we are going to get salicylaldehyde. But in place of chloroform, if I use carbon tetrachloride in Raymond-Teimer reaction, we will be getting salicylic acid as the final product. Now to this salicylic acid, he is going to do acetylation with the help of acetic anhydride. So acetylation of salicylic acid leads to the formation of acetyl salicylic acid called as aspirin, and this is a very useful drug used for heart diseases. In the second question, benzene diazonium chloride is taken and it is subjected to acidic hydrolysis. We all know very well benzene diazonium chloride on acidic hydrolysis on heating with steam will form phenol. This phenol is subjected to a Raymond-Teimer reaction. In Raymond-Teimer reaction, we know very well, generally we take chloroform CHCl3 and alcoholic aqueous KOH. This will give salicylaldehyde. But in place of chloroform, if I take carbon tetrachloride the final product formed will be salicylic acid. Salicylic acid means there is a OH and COOH. So this is salicylic acid. This salicylic acid on treatment with acetic anhydride AC2O will give an acetylation at this particular position, giving you aspirin as the product. ASPIRINA, aspirin. The structure of aspirin will be like this: OAC COOH. This is aspirin. The third question is a true or false type of question. Whenever this type of questions come or appear in the examination, we should take little extra care to answer this. Why? Because the negation of statement should be thoroughly observed to answer such type of question. Third question: which one of the following statements is not correct? So you need to underline that not there. Alcohols are weaker acids than water. That's the correct statement. Alcohols are weaker acids than water. That is the reason why alcohols are more basic. They are acting as Lewis bases. So that's the correct statement. Alcohols do not liberate hydrogen gas on treatment with sodium metal, which is a wrong statement. Generally, alcohols, or for that matter any active hydrogen compound. What do you mean by active hydrogen compound? Active hydrogen compounds are compounds where hydrogen atom is attached to a highly electronegative atom like oxygen, chlorine, nitrogen, fluorine, etc. So all of them are active hydrogen compounds. All these active hydrogen compounds generally on treatment with active metals like sodium, potassium, etc. they liberate hydrogen gas. So here we get sodium alkoxide ion formed like this with the liberation of hydrogen gas. But in second statement he is saying alcohols do not liberate hydrogen gas, which is wrong. Alcohols do liberate hydrogen gas on treatment with active metals like sodium. Fourth question is a question with regard to Lucas reagent. We all know pretty well that Lucas reagent is a reagent which is used for testing the detection of primary or secondary or tertiary alcohols. And tertiary alcohols will give turbidity immediately with Lucas reagent, whereas secondary alcohols will give turbidity after some time. Coming to primary alcohols will give turbidity only on heating because the reaction of primary alcohol with Lucas reagent is rather slow. Now, fourth question: among the following alcohols, which would react fastest with concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride? We all know pretty well concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride is known as Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent generally is used to find out or to distinguish primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Primary, secondary, tertiary alcohols. Tertiary alcohols are alcohols where hydroxy group is connected to a tertiary carbon. Tertiary carbon means carbon which is directly connected to 3 more carbons. An example will be tertiary butyl alcohol like this. So this will give turbidity very fast compared to secondary alcohol. OH group is attached to a secondary carbon. Secondary carbon is carbon which is directly attached to only 2 more carbons. So here I have a hydrogen. Now what is primary alcohol? Primary alcohols are alcohols where OH group is connected to primary carbon. So primary carbon is directly connected to only 1 more carbon. So secondary alcohols will give turbidity after some time. Tertiary alcohols will give turbidity immediately with Lucas reagent. So here we need to search for a tertiary alcohol. Now the options given are A. Pentanol. Pentanol is a primary alcohol. It is containing 5 carbon chain and then at the primary carbon I have OH group. So therefore it will not give turbidity with Lucas reagent. Now the second option is 2-methyl butane 1-ol. This is also a primary alcohol. The third option is 2-pentanol. 2-pentanol is a secondary alcohol as we notice here. And the last option is the ultimate answer because it says it is 2-methyl 2-butanol. But means 4 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. 2-methyl, that is at the second carbon I have a methyl group, and also I have an alcoholic group at the second carbon. 2-methyl 2-butanol. So this particular carbon is a tertiary carbon because it is directly connected to 3 carbons, 1, 2, 3. Hence this is a tertiary alcohol which readily reacts with Lucas reagent. The answer is option D. Sometimes in the competitive examination, we face questions wherein 2 or more concepts are mixed within the same question. So, question number 5 is an example of such type of questions. Here, we all know pretty well any active hydrogen compound like alcohol or carboxylic acid will liberate hydrogen gas on treatment with metallic sodium. That concept is taken in this question. In question number 5, the molecular formula of the compound given is C4H10O. He says that this is reacting with sodium. Because it is reacting with sodium, it must be having active hydrogen, which means it can be an alcohol. It undergoes oxidation to give carbonyl compound which does not reduce tolerance reagent. Carbonyl compound does not reduce tolerance reagent implies it must be ketone. So with this particular formula I must write a secondary alcohol because secondary alcohols only on oxidation will give ketones. So secondary alcohols with this formula can be this. So the answer should be secondary butyl alcohol. It is secondary butyl alcohol. Therefore the option D is the correct answer. Number 6, we see an organic compound reacting with Grignard reagent, namely methyl magnesium bromide. Whenever an organic compound reacts with methyl magnesium bromide, it's going to give you an adduct. So in question number 6, he says an organic compound reacts with methyl magnesium iodide to form an addition product. Once you look at the options, in all the options he gave either acetaldehyde or acetone. Therefore, the organic compound A must be either acetaldehyde or acetone. We all know very well aldehydes on treatment with Grignard reagent followed by hydrolysis will give either primary alcohols or secondary alcohols, whereas ketones will do tertiary alcohols. Now compound B formed as an intermediate here, it is reacting with Victor Meyer's reagent and it is giving blue color, he says. Because it is giving blue color is given by secondary alcohols in Victor Meyer test. A Victor Meyer test is also called as RBC test. So primary alcohols will give red color, secondary alcohols will give blue color, and tertiary alcohols will give a colorless compound. So therefore the compound obtained is a tertiary alcohol, which means the initial organic compound taken prior to Grignard's reagent action must be acetaldehyde. So therefore the option should be acetaldehyde and then isopropyl alcohol, that is the compound obtained. So option C is the answer. In question number 7, we can see the reaction with copper and 300 degrees centigrade. We all know pretty well copper 300 degrees centigrade is a reagent used for dehydrogenation. So generally dehydrogenation of primary alcohols will give aldehydes, secondary alcohols will give ketones. So he is asking us phenol will give benzyl alcohol, which is wrong. Phenol does not react with copper 300 degrees centigrade. Primary alcohols will give aldehydes, correct. Secondary alcohols give ketone, correct. Tertiary alcohols give olefins, that's also correct. Therefore the incorrect statement is the first one. Phenol gives benzyl alcohol. So the answer is A. In question number 8, Phenol is heated with chloroform and aqueous KOH. Generally this is our Riemann-Tiemann reaction. So here phenol is made to react with chloroform CHCl3 and KOH aqueous. It gives you salicylaldehyde, and the reactive intermediate present in this particular process is dichlorocarbene, that is CCl2, where carbon is having one lone pair of electrons. Therefore the option A is correct. Now let's explore ninth question. In this question, he is asking us how to distinguish N-propyl and isopropyl alcohols. We all know pretty well N-propyl alcohol is a primary alcohol, whereas isopropyl alcohol is a secondary alcohol. And these two can be distinguished with the help of Lucas reagent. These two can also be distinguished chemically with the help of an oxidizing agent, because primary alcohols on oxidation will give initially aldehydes, which on further oxidation will give you carboxylic acids. Whereas secondary alcohols on oxidation initially will give ketones, which on forced oxidation further will lead to the formation of carboxylic acids with lesser number of carbons. So in this way we can distinguish primary and secondary alcohols, that is in this particular case isopropyl alcohol and N-propyl alcohol. However, we have one more very important reagent which can be distinguishing isopropyl alcohol and N-propyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is not having CH3CHOH group, hence it cannot give an iodoform reaction, whereas isopropyl alcohol is having CH3CHOH group, therefore it responds to iodoform test. So out of N-propyl alcohol and isopropyl alcohol, it is the isopropyl alcohol that gives iodoform test. In question number 9, he is asking us the distinction for N-propyl alcohol and isopropyl alcohol. First, N-propyl alcohol means CH3, CH2, CH2OH. Isopropyl alcohol is also called as 2-propanol, CH3, CHOH, CH3. It is a secondary alcohol, this is a primary alcohol. Therefore, both of them can be distinguished by oxidation. Oxidation of primary alcohols initially forms aldehydes, whereas oxidation of secondary alcohols initially forms ketones. That is one way of distinguishing. The other way of distinguishing is using iodine and sodium hydroxide, which is also called as iodoform reaction. Alcohols which are having CH3CHOH group only will give iodoform test. Hence, isopropyl alcohol will give iodoform test, whereas N-propyl alcohol will not give iodoform test. So, by using these two reagents, we can distinguish N-propyl alcohol and isopropyl alcohol. Therefore, the answer will be option D, that is both A and C. It's a rather simple question. Sometimes people will be misled in this type of simple questions. Here he is asking which is an aromatic alcohol. Aromatic alcohol should contain a OH group but not attached to benzene ring. If OH group is attached to benzene ring, then it is called as phenol. It is no more an alcohol. Therefore, all those options where OH is attached to benzene ring are not correct. He says it is aromatic, therefore there should be benzene ring and also there should be a OH group. So this type of compound will be an aromatic alcohol. Therefore, the option here in this case is option C, where there is one CH3 group at ortho place. Option C is correct. Now we all know pretty well that organic chemistry is a chemistry full of conversions. Here is one more question, that is question number 11, in the form of a conversion in front of us. It is with regard to cumene. Cumene on aerial oxidation initially forms cumene hydroperoxide. This cumene hydroperoxide on hydrolysis will form two important products. One is phenol, the other one is acetone. Phenol is an aromatic moiety. The acetone that's obtained is a very important byproduct. In question number 11, he says cumene, which is also called as isopropyl benzene, it is reacting with aerial oxidation and followed by hydrolysis. Therefore, it gives phenol and acetone. But aromatic compound, he says, therefore it should be phenol. this phenol on treatment with bromine water. So bromine water, if phenol reacts with bromine and carbon disulfide, it's going to give you mixture of orthobromophenol and parabromophenol. But bromine water, he says, therefore you are going to get 2,4,6 tribromophenol. 2,4,6 tribromophenol. Br, Br and Br. That's another important aspect in organic chemistry is with regard to named reactions. We have a number of named reactions, and all these named reactions are very, very important in terms of competitive examinations. Therefore, this is a question pertaining to Getterman aldehyde synthesis. Now, question number 12, it's already the partly answered in question number 11 itself. So, cumene on aerial oxidation followed by hydrolysis will give phenol. Now, this phenol here is subjected to aerial oxidation and followed by hydrolysis will give phenol. This phenol is subjected to hydrogen cyanide and dry HCl in the presence of AlCl3. This is nothing but Getterman aldehyde synthesis. Therefore, finally you are going to get a salcylaldehyde product. So now he is asking which is not true with regard to B. B can be prepared by Reimer-Teimer reaction. We all know pretty well salcylaldehyde is the final product in Reimer-Teimer reaction. So B is 2-hydroxybenzene sulfonic acid, which is wrong. Actually it is only 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde. Therefore option B is not correct. Answer is option B. 13th question is a tricky question. Here he is taking benzene diazonium chloride. Benzene diazonium chloride on hydrolysis will give phenol. We know pretty well that point. This phenol on treatment with concentrated sulfuric acid at 115 degrees centigrade, it gives a thermodynamically stable product, namely 4-hydroxybenzene sulfonic acid. This is the product obtained. That is B. Now he is asking a position isomer of B. Therefore, it can be either 2-hydroxybenzene sulfonic acid or 3-hydroxybenzene sulfonic acid, etc. But it can never be 4-hydroxybenzene sulfonic acid. So the answer will be first option. The answer will be A, first option. Question number 14 is a question pertaining to acidity of phenols. We all know very well phenols are acidic because phenoxide obtained after losing a proton is more stable than phenol itself. Hence, phenols are weakly acidic. And the acidity of phenols increases by attaching an electron withdrawing group like NO2, COOH or CHO, etc. So, electron withdrawing group increases the acidity of phenol. Electron donating groups like NH2, CH3, etc., they decrease the acidity of phenols. Therefore, in this particular question, the answer will be C. He is asking increasing order of acidity of phenols. So, methyl phenol will have lowest acidity compared to phenol, which is having lesser acidity compared to metonitrophenol, which is having lesser acidity compared to paranitrophenol. Therefore, the answer C is correct. Answer is C. Chemistry, the previous knowledge base of other chapters is rather important. Though sometimes a question belongs to this particular topic appears, yet the concept present inside the particular question belongs to the previous chapters. Here is an example of such question in the form of question number 15. In this question, that is question number 15, he is asking the reaction of this compound with HBr. Though we could see a phenolic group here, but this is a question that requires our previous knowledge of Marconi and anti-Markovnikov rule, that is addition of HBr to an alkene. But this is not a simple alkene, and you can even not apply the so-called Marconi or anti-Markovnikov rule here, because both the double bonded carbons are having same number of hydrogens. Therefore, the reaction mechanism comes into picture here. If I rotate the pi bond onto this carbon, then the carbocation generated will have more stability due to this phenylic assistance. Hence, the pi bond will be rotated onto this carbon only. Hence, negative charge appears here. Therefore, hydrogen comes here and bromine will be added to this. Therefore, the final product that you are going to get is CH3, CH2, CHBr, and then the phenolic group. That's it. So this is the final answer. The OH group attached to phenol will not react with HBr. Therefore, answer A is the correct option.